Hey guys, welcome to another episode of GTA Biz, where every week we meet with a business owner in the GTA or very interesting businesses. And today we have Nunzio Presta. Is that your last name, Presta?
Yes, and you said it right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Presta, yeah, it's hard
You
to
didn't go
pronounce.
for my Starbucks name.
No. What's your Starbucks name so everyone knows?
Matthew.
Matthew.
It's the easiest thing. It's even my vacation name.
Vacation name.
Yeah.
So when you
'cause
go on vacation?
When I go on vacation or Starbucks, I don't want to get into the whole conversation of someone saying, "What's that? How do you say that? Is that your first or last name?"
You must get that all the time.
all the time. So I'm like, you know what? It's Matthew.
It's Matthew.
But Nunzio. We'll go with Nunzio. You said it right. You
Yeah,
said it right.
Nunzio.
Thank you.
Nunzio.
Thank you.
Noontime. Nunzio.
My grandparents would be very happy about that.
Oh. Nunzio. So before this podcast, I Googled like a bit more questions to ask you. But you'll see what they are. So yeah, just to fill everyone in, every week we meet with business owners around the GTA and we learn things that are valuable skills about, for example, you're really good at creating startups, correct? You've had experience doing that.
Sure. I
So
wouldn't
we're
say
gonna-
I wouldn't say I'm great, but I'm on my way.
So today we're going to talk about mainly how to create a successful startup. So we're going to talk about stuff like leadership, the importance of leadership. How do you hire the right people? When should you grow a startup? And what are some of the challenges in growing a startup? We're going to cover all of that. But before we get to that, you have a company. It's called BizON. So tell us about that. What is that?
Yeah, so BizOn's an online marketplace where people can buy, sell, and grow businesses or franchises every day. We're super focused in the micro market, so people looking to buy or sell businesses anywhere from $1,000 to no more than $5 million. That's where we really perform well. And the way you can think about it is we're like a Kijiji or a Facebook marketplace, but super focused on attracting people looking to buy or sell businesses or franchises. And that's it. That's what we do. We're a matchmaker.
Oh, so how does that differ from the traditional way of buying businesses? Like, what's the traditional way to buy a business? Because I'm not too familiar with that, and I'm sure a lot of the audience isn't familiar with that as well. Because
Sure.
when I think of like buying a business, if I want to buy like a laundry mat or something, it's usually like you go to, well, you ask a commercial realtor, and they're like, oh, this hairdresser is selling their store unit or something. Would you like to buy it?
Yeah.
But you're talking more of like the startup business kind of thing?
No, I'm talking about startups, established business, independently owned businesses, franchises, and generally. So if let's step back, the reason why I started BizOn was because those traditional methods just didn't work well for me.
And what's the traditional method?
So, for example, I went to a business broker.
Okay.
Because I was looking to sell my business. That's what got me into BizOn. And
What was your business?
It was a clothing line I started with a friend of mine. Brought it up to a pretty good point, but we quickly realized we didn't have the resources or expertise to grow it. So I started looking for options to sell it. And I was hit with business brokers that said you're way too small. I was hit with realtors that said I'd rather sell a house, and realtors and a majority of realtors, residential and commercial, really don't focus on the purchase and sale of businesses. They're more the residential and commercial avenues, right? So they really shot me down there.
And most of the businesses would be categorized as commercial, and then there's not even that many commercial realtors.
Well, most of the business, no. When you're thinking of commercial, most of these commercial realtors are dealing with the lease of a storefront. They're not really
The actual business, not really.
they're
the
not really
business.
selling the actual business. That's what we're dealing with here, right? And then
Oh, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
most of it, you're like, they're selling a hair salon. It's mostly the salon. It's not really like the business, right?
Exactly.
It's like
It's
the,
like we
the
have-
place. We have
it's a
this
place.
place.
Exactly.
It's a business. There are people working there, but it's you're buying the place.
Exactly. It's a lease,
get
right?
it.
So we're actually focused directly on the actual business or franchise.
So before that, people would have to go to business brokers to buy a business.
Or they
basically.
would leverage unfocused directories online, that were public and they weren't confidential in any way, and something like a Kijiji or an eBay or a Craigslist, right? These unfocused directories, people would try and leverage those with not much success.
So now
those guys, those types of platforms, especially when you're looking to buy or sell a business, aren't that professional, and they really do a good job at sending a lot of tire kickers, right? So that was the pain point I went through. So I said there has to be, an online marketplace that's seamless, resourceful, and supportive. Something that someone could go to, a small business owner, a business broker, even a realtor, or a franchisor or a franchisee, somewhere these people can go to with confidence in knowing that, this is the place where the right audience is in order to buy or sell a business or franchise.
So that's basically what BizON is. It's like the Kijiji of buying and selling businesses.
Correct.
From, you said 1,000 to 5 million.
Yeah, we have we have outliers. Obviously, we have people, businesses selling for as little as $1,000, and the first thing that comes to mind is this lady that was trying to sell her home-based business. It was a basket business, right? So she wanted to sell it. That's fine, right? We created this platform for people to do that, and then on the larger end, say the 5 million. We've had an outlier as big as 12 million actually, and that was a bed and breakfast in the Rocky Mountains, right? But those are outliers.
And when did you start this? It was like 2012.
We incorporated in 2012. We launched in 2014. So we had about a year and a half of finding the right people and building out the platform ourselves.
And we're going to get to that, how to find the right people soon.
Sure. Yeah. So.
And let me just get this straight. Like no one else is doing it, does what BizON does, like around here.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's a pretty great idea that you came up with.
Thank you.
10 years ago.
Thank you.
No, 8 years ago.
8
years ago.
7.
I don't know if you've seen this post. It went viral on I don't know what channel, but like everywhere. It was like it showed Craigslist. And then every section of Craigslist, Craigslist, right? In every section of Craigslist, every category, it said you can build a business from it. And then they listed like Facebook is the missed connections or something like that. I don't think it was the missed connections. And then something else was this. And then Airbnb was like the housing or rentals part. So then that was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, if you Craigslist and then for sale businesses, that's BizON.
Are you referring to Airbnb, like the startup with I think it was a viral post where it said Airbnb has the most hotel rooms but doesn't own any hotels? Was that the viral post you were referring to?
No, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
That's a pretty good post too.
But I can imagine it. It's a pretty good post. So let's get on to our first question.
Yeah, hit me.
Okay. So what do you think is very important in order to build a strong startup? I know that's a very vague question, but you can be vague about it in the answer, or be very broad.
Yeah, I think in order to build a strong startup or company, you need to build a strong culture, and in order to build a strong culture, you need to find A players. It's the bottom line, right? And these A players have to really buy into the vision of the company, believe in it, and contribute, right? That's the foundation of a strong startup or company, right? That's how that looks. You need to find A players that contribute and create a strong culture and brand around your vision.
So I get that part. So like I guess there's so many different types of startups, right? Like some they already have funding, and then some they just it's like two co-founders working in the basement or something, and then until they find something that works well, and then they get investors outside to fund them, and then they can hire more people. But like in terms of just like, let's say you founded a startup with someone else, and you're two co-founders. At what point do you start hiring more people, and where do you get the funding for that? Like what is your suggestion?
So that's a good point. So obviously if you could fund it yourself through the revenue your startup
that's best.
That's the best, obviously. But I think hiring really comes to play when you start growing at a pace where you no longer have the skills or the bandwidth to contribute. Therefore, you need you need to find more players that have those skills and whatnot to help you grow and scale that business. For me, at the beginning, that wasn't my approach. My approach was, building BizON off sweat equity. So, that's how
Did everything yourself?
Well, I did everything myself, and I found people with the skills I was missing in order to help me build and turn my idea into something real. And I did that very creatively, and, I didn't need revenue. I didn't need funding, right? We just need to put in our sacrifice and our time to build this business. And that's what I did. And the first most critical, person I had to find was my technical co-founder, right, Jeff, and he was the person that helped me turn my idea into reality. So that was my approach from the beginning, And
how did you find him? He was someone you already knew, or
yeah, networking.
He was like on your LinkedIn already.
No, he was like a referral from my father's network, and it was, you have to be very active, right, in the community in order to open up doors, and that's how that came about. But that whole approach and mindset was really inspired from a talk that I listened to from Brett Wilson. He used to be a dragon on Dragon's Den.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
I didn't watch that much. I always watched Shark Tank.
Yeah. So
they're similar.
He's great. He's actually, I believe, from Alberta, but he's great. And one of his, I heard him talking at an expo, and the thing that he said that really inspired me was, I rather own 1% of Microsoft than 99% of a startup that can't get off the ground. And essentially what that means to me is, do whatever it takes to turn your idea into reality. Right. So at the beginning, when I identified the opportunity for BizON, I didn't have, the money. I didn't have, or I couldn't, easily raise, funding. Right. So I had to be creative, and I was okay with dishing out equity and finding a technical co-founder that was okay with taking on sweat equity because he believed in the vision and believed what we were trying to do. So that really just, hearing him say that really, really inspired just the way, or just my approach in general from the beginning. And I'm thankful I heard him say that, because there's a lot of, startup guys out there, or people in general that are, they want all the equity to themselves, right? And they can't do anything because they leave ideas on the table. So what's the point of that? I'm not for that. I rather do whatever is necessary. For example, sweat equity to get the job done and turn an idea into reality. And I'm thankful I did.
And it's really rare too to find someone that has the same vision as you, or like a similar vision. Like if it's 70% the same, it's still really good. But like a lot of people, in terms of sweat equity, like this is just my opinion, but then they would, if they're gonna put in that much effort, they might as well do something themselves, right? That's 100% their own vision.
Yeah, and I think, but what happens, Jason, is I have something that Jeff didn't have, and he has something I didn't have, right? And together, that's when you could create something awesome and turn an idea into reality. Like, for example, Jeff was probably okay, or was okay, obviously, in joining forces and helping me build this idea into reality, and fell in love with our vision and what we were trying to accomplish, because he knew that maybe he couldn't develop an idea like that by himself, and vice versa. I'm thankful that he came in, because I have all these ideas, but I'm not a coder. I didn't have the technical skill to turn this idea into something real. So that's where, I think that's where that marriage exists. So it may be rare, but I think it's possible, and it's doable, and
it's more common than most people think.
I think so. I think so.
And when was that? When did you meet Jeff? Was this like 2010, 2011?
So I incorporated
2012.
BizON in 2012, August, I believe, around this time, and I hit the ground running. So I think maybe a couple months in, I met Jeff, and we started, we started perfecting the idea, perfecting the plan, and building out the marketplace.
So the two of you built it out. You probably just the two of you, or did you hire some people to build out some?
It was
of the
just
things?
us two.
Oh, okay.
Just
And
us
when
two.
did you hire your
And
first
we
employee?
also had that led into getting some designers on hand, and I'm also thankful I asked my dad to be part of this as well.
What role does he play?
CFO. So
Oh,
he has
okay.
extensive experience as a CPA and CFO. So I asked him to, join forces and make sure that we were going down the right direction. So yeah, so
And he's still the CFO right now.
yeah,
Oh,
but
cool.
our core team's still the same.
Oh, wow. And now you say you have 5 people now?
Or 6 of us, yeah.
6 of you? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So and 6 people that really believe in what we're trying to accomplish. I think that's 6 right people that are on the right bus. And I think that plays into the first question you asked me about creating a strong culture and attracting A players, right?
Oh, yes.
We all contribute to what BizON is and what we plan it to be.
My next question was going to be, what position do you hire first? But I guess you sort of answered it. You said, when you find a co-founder, you need to find someone who can do things that you can't do yourself.
it's
So
filling
then
in the gaps.
you fill in the gaps,
Yep.
and then whatever gaps you need filled, that's the position you hire for first.
Exactly, especially as a growing startup, right? And you only know that as you start experimenting and growing, right? So I wouldn't suggest hiring
Thinking
a
ahead.
fleet of people just because you need your HR person. You need, yes, eventually you're gonna get there, but let's take it bit by bit so we could be lean and effective, right?
So what does your everyday look like right now? Because I'm
My
curious.
everyday?
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's different every day, right? As the CEO of a company.
You know what? No.
It's not
I
different.
try to make it as routine as possible, because that's where I believe I can build the most momentum, right? When you keep things.
So every day you wake up.
5:30, my eyes open. I'm spending time with my kids, getting them ready for school, sending them off.
Today's the first day of school, right? Or
Yeah, my kids are still in daycare, but so it's like the 300th day of school.
Daycare is every day, or is it?
Pretty much, except
I
for
don't have
Saturday,
kids
Sunday.
yet, so.
Except for Saturday, Sunday, it's every day. But I wake up at 5:30, and I try to consistently wake up at that time, including the weekends. Send them off to school, and then I try. Once they're gone, I try.
5:30, you send them off to school.
Well, no, 5:30 I get up.
Oh, and
Then I get ready. They wake up at 6:30, and I send them off to school. And then before my day starts, I like to get in some reading, meditation, something to set the tone for the day, and then my day's scheduled minute by minute. Whether it's emails, calls, meetings, whatever it is, it's scheduled minute by minute, and I'm making sure I'm home for dinner. And that's a routine I've set every day for myself as I'm leading this growing company.
And as for the actual minute by minute things that you said, is most of your day like talking to other company owners, like going to events, networking with other people? Like, what does that look like?
It's a variety of everything. So
Variety of everything.
I'm doing some. At this point right now, I am still wearing some multiple hats. But I make sure that even though I'm wearing multiple hats, the decisions I make aren't compromised. Right, as far as the quality of the decision I'm making, I want to make sure they're not compromised. So I get the the people involved that are necessary. But generally, I'm doing bits and pieces of everything: sales, marketing, customer service, networking, things like this. I'm a big believer in creating your own personal brand as well, because as you create your own personal brand and connect and create that network, it also flows over to your business, right? So.
Yeah, kind of like we met at a networking event.
Yeah.
Now I know about your company.
Yeah.
Now if I meet someone else and we end up talking about this topic, I'll say like, oh, I know this guy, Matthew.
Nunzio.
He has a marketplace, not a marketplace. He has a Kijiji of buying and selling.
Marketplace is fine.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's
a marketplace
yes.
of buying and selling
Yeah.
businesses.
Correct.
And then that's how you get your word out, and then.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, and I think, like I said, I personally think it's very, like, my favorite app is my calendar app. Like, seriously, it keeps me, accountable. It's scheduling all my, my day minute by minute. Yeah, it's laced with my goals, and it's building, it's making sure, hey, I'm committed and disciplined and accountable, but it's creating that momentum, right? Those daily, steps or whatnot, end up creating big results. So you need to really focus on those little, minute by minute tasks, because that's what's going to create the bigger results in the end, right?
That completely makes sense. I read a book, I don't remember which one, it talked about that. Like if you go to the gym once, then you're not going to see a result. 1 month later, it's not going to see a result. But 10 years, going to the gym for a half an hour, you're going to see big results because of that compounded.
100%. And that's been my mindset. So.
Makes complete sense.
Yep.
So let's get back to the hiring part. And I actually don't even know the answer to this, because you mentioned, I was saying you're talking about finding a really good co-founder. You're saying you need to find someone with the right attitude, but at the same time, someone who has skills that you don't have. So my question is, what's more important? Like, what do you look for when hiring for people? Is it hard skills or is it soft skills?
Ooh,
and I guess there's no clear-cut answer. There's not one. There is one. Okay. What's the answer?
So hard skills are critical, but they're useless if soft skills don't exist. That's just the truth. Like, soft skills, hands down, is what you need to look for. Like, you could be the best coder in the world, but if your soft skills are shot, nothing's happening. Nothing will happen, especially for the long run. So, like, for me, if you're gonna compare the two, like, hard skills generally could be taught. Soft skills, not so much. And one of the biggest soft skills I look for is grit. Grit.
Oh, sorry.
Grit. So
what does that mean?
Grit. So grit, like, for me, grit is like that blend of persistence and passion. Like, that's what you need to build great companies and do great work. And if you have grit and hard skills, you're a superstar. You're an A player. If you don't, you're not an A player. That's the way I look at it.
Now, what about this? If someone is average in terms of their soft skills, and someone else is really good in terms of their soft skills, wouldn't it make more sense to hire, and the person who is average in their soft skills is really good at a certain skill that is lacking in your company? Wouldn't it make more sense to hire them as opposed to someone who is really good in terms of soft skills but doesn't have any knowledge in?
No.
No?
I
It doesn't make sense?
I don't think so. Wait, did you say has zero knowledge? So, like, they have zero hard skill? That's drastically different. Like, if you were to say, someone has great soft skills, but okay hard skills, okay soft skills, but great hard skills, I'm going with option A. Because I believe that person with the great soft skills will develop and get better. I do believe that. It's a long-term thing. I believe that. Option B, I think it's a short-term play.
That makes sense, I guess, because let's say you're looking for a coder. All the resumes that you send out that you get in, even if they're really bad, they still know coding, right? Like, you're not going to get someone who doesn't know anything. So, well, that makes sense.
And the person with the soft skills will get better. Person, with mediocre soft skills may plateau. So yeah, that's what I think.
And you're the expert.
Am I? Okay.
So what other what was your history before you started BizON? Because I was looking at your LinkedIn profile. You have a lot of things.
Did you?
Going on. Yes.
Do you have a lot of things?
You have like 4 things that says present. So tell me about that.
Yeah. I'm a contributor for a couple publications. So, like, Startup Canada, Thrive Global, and whatnot.
So do you do talks for them, or do you go to their events and stuff?
Yeah, a combination. Well, for Thrive, I primarily contribute a lot of articles on a variety of topics.
So you're a good writer too.
Well, ask my wife. She's my editor.
Is she your ghostwriter?
She is. Well, no.
We can cut that part out.
she's not my
You want-
she's not my ghostwriter, but she's a
She's
she's
your
a
editor.
She's
Okay.
yeah, she's a fabulous writer. So I throw my ideas and on a piece of paper, and I'm a pretty good writer, but nothing gets nothing gets published without
her
eyes.
looking
yeah,
at it.
she has to. She is a significantly better writer than me. But
Does she help contribute to you in terms of BizON as well, or
that part,
the writing part?
yeah, she'll help me edit my pieces and whatnot. Yeah, and then for Startup Canada, I go to a lot of their events. I go to, I participate in a lot of their startup chats on Twitter, which I'm a fan of. I'll actually be doing one tomorrow on scaling up with purpose, so that's exciting.
So you're giving a talk.
It's a tweet, like it's Twitter chat.
Oh, it's a Twitter
yeah,
chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'll contribute and do a lot of stuff like that, in addition to events and whatnot. And then I'm running BizON there, and we actually launched another sister company called BizON Capital.
BizON Capital.
And what inspired that, and I'm a director there, but what inspired that arm of BizON was right now about 40% of our listings sell, 60% don't. That 40% success rate is actually double industry average. So we're performing
wow.
really well, but still, we were, we all sat back and said, okay, but 60% aren't selling,
better.
right? So BizON Capital is attacking that. Like, we're digging in and investigating and looking into, what is creating that 60%? Are there diamonds in the rough? Are there opportunities in listings that we could potentially acquire ourselves and grow? So that's what BizON Capital is all about. But yeah, I have my toes in a couple things.
And I know we keep getting off topic, but it's really interesting.
Sure.
Like, so right now, how do people find out about BizON?
Well,
like right now.
Yeah. So one thing that we're really great at is creating exposure for our sellers and our brand. Like, we're all about creating a top of mind brand, and we're really good at social selling and digital marketing.
And how? So you do that for each individual business, I'm guessing? Or?
No, us as a brand, and primarily the way we campaign it is we have campaigns attracting buyers and campaigns attracting sellers, and I guess the theme of what we represent, which is our our vision as well, and what we believe we're doing at BizON is empowering people to love what they do, and firing their boss and being an entrepreneur through acquisition. So those are the themes that drive our campaigns, and it brings a lot of attention to our marketplace. And we're also, we're very forward thinking.
So it's not even just you're targeting people that are at the buying stage. You're targeting people who are like awareness. They're
Both.
not even sure they want to buy a business yet.
Yeah.
You're sort of convincing them.
Yeah, and we're also we're distributing that through obviously our smart. Do we even have to say this anymore? Our smartphone. We're mobile friendly. Do we have to say that? No. So we're distributing through everything that people expect us to distribute.
What's a non-smartphone? Like a desk phone?
No, I'm saying, like, do we even have to say, like, oh, we're mobile friendly now? Like, I would hope so. It's 2019. So it's
Believe it or not, a lot of websites I see, like, they're not mobile friendly to zoom in.
No, please don't say that.
To go like this.
No, yeah, the little, no, thank you.
Some people, they even prefer it like that. They're like, no, we like it like this.
Well, it's because they're set in their way. That's the wrong approach. You need to evolve. Like, for example, so when we started when we launched in 2014, mobile friendly, absolutely. Laptop experience, tablet experience, desktop experience, absolutely. And now we've gone to voice search. We're the only marketplace, business for sale marketplace
with voice search.
With voice search.
Oh wow!
Right?
So you're really adapting to every new technology that's coming out.
Yeah, and also smart home devices. So right now we have a skill on Alexa. So if you download or enable our skill on Alexa, I think you just have to search BizON. You enable it, and all you have to do is say, Alexa, what's new what new listings are on BizON, and Alexa's like, oh, and she tells you all the listings, right?
Oh, that's great.
And that's another way that we're creating this exposure for our sellers, right?
Because the audio is going to dominate the next probably 5 years? I've heard a lot of influencers say that because like people are gonna listen to a lot of audio content while they're driving. They'll say like, "Hey Siri" or Alexa, play this podcast.
That's funny. That's funny. Siri, we don't need you.
Oh, that's my phone.
That was good.
I was like, how did Nick's phone recognize my voice?
I'm like, where's my phone? That's my phone. It didn't go off. Okay. That was funny. But no, you're right. Definitely. You know, my sister works for a voice search company.
And right now the competition is low too. Like there's not too much voice content out there. So like,
sure.
If we capitalize on that and start creating a lot of voice content, we can really.
Sure.
Yeah. Leadership. What can we learn about leadership in terms of a startup? Okay.
Yeah, leadership. Like for me, first of all, I think you need to ask my team what they think about leadership, and maybe they'll give me a report card. But I think if I need to summarize it into a sentence, it's setting the tone. So getting the right people on the right bus, going the right direction at the right time. That's leadership. Leadership is working for your team, not telling them what to do, but working for them, helping them, and setting principles, setting a vision, setting a mission that in which a company can excel whether you're the leader or not. Right? I think that's leadership. It's about listening, right? That's leadership. That's leadership for me.
And you said a point that's really good. You said so sort of like accountability, where we're setting an expectation, but at the same time, get your team to sort of recognize that you're following the same expectation.
Absolutely, yeah. You're setting the tone. Like for BizON, we have like from a culture perspective, we are a very focused, curious, marketing-driven type of company, right? And that's the tone we set. We expect everyone to be focused. We expect everyone to, be curious. We expect everyone to prioritize our marketing because as a marketplace, we want to attract a captive and engaged audience, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a tone we set, and we're clear on that. And how we provide clarity is, like, for example, we simplify it. Like at BizON, there's 3 things or goals or whatnot that drive every decision we make. We want to be a top-of-mind global brand. Mm-hmm. We want to make the most successful connections, mm-hmm. and we want to have vast opportunities and resources for our users. And mm-hmm. I think if we, if I'm setting that tone and setting those expectations, I hopefully think my team may think I'm a gret leader. Right, but you would have to ask them that, right? I think.
Okay, I will.
I think that's my little speech on leadership.
Cool. We 2 topics that we have to cover because they're really important. We got sidetracked because it was so interesting.
No problem.
The stuff we have to say. So why do you think a lot of startups fail? Because a lot of startups fail. You only hear about the ones who succeed, but in reality, like a lot of them fail, and then usually.
Yeah. So I think one is startups and companies. Mm-hmm. I think this applies to both. Mm-hmm. One is they're not betting on the future, and the second is they're impatient. So, not betting on the future. Basically, they're not like you said about that business owner that said, "Oh, we're okay with the." Like I think that's a sign that you're potentially leading to a failing business model or something. I think you need to let go of the past. You need to evolve. You need to embrace the future and take bold bets on the future. We're never going backwards, right?
Mm-hmm. I think
Jeff Bezos famously says that all the time. We're never going backwards, never. So you need to bet on the future, and you need to let go of what has potentially made you successful, right? You need to get uncomfortable and push the envelope. And then the second is, patience. A lot of companies and
they give up before it
yeah,
actually.
they're patient. Yeah, and I think it's because they don't have the right motive. That's what I truly believe. I think there's a lot, especially in the startup world, maybe not so much, bigger companies, but in the startup world, there are a ton of friggin' entrepreneurs that have the wrong motive.
The wrong motive meaning like they're just thinking of the money. They're
Yeah,
not thinking of how to solve problems.
They're thinking about how many likes they have on their Instagram posts, how many followers they have. They're thinking about bottle services and being a billionaire and yacht life and all these things.
Instead of actually trying to solve a problem for people.
Instead of actually trying to focus on adding value to the world. And when you have the wrong motive, of course you're going to be impatient because you're going to start to notice when you're building this company, the money's not coming in as fast as you want. So any sane person is definitely going to say, okay, I'm done. Right.
Yeah.
But if your motive is tied into something real, something that's, deep in purpose and fulfillment, like, adding value, like, for example, at BizON, we want to empower people to love what we do. So I'm constantly, my team and I are constantly going to be chasing that. We're not going to give up on that. But if I said, oh, we want to be $1 billion, we want to make $100 million a year, we would have given up.
That's the wrong motive.
Yeah, we would have given up 5 years ago, right? But no, we're chasing the right motive, and I think, that's another reason why a lot of these guys, give up so easily or fail.
Well, that was like really golden advice.
Thank you. I try.
I mean, I listened to a lot of motivational talks, like business talks, and that was like a first tip that I've ever heard. Well, it's related, but not like that. Like the motive, that's important.
Thank you.
Now, the last question before we wrap up.
Sure.
It sort of ties into that as well. You mentioned patience, but what if the money runs out before it gets to a point where you actually make progress and make profit? Do you think it's the approach was wrong? They should have focused more on sweat equity before using that many expenses, and then their overhead just disappears.
I honestly don't know the answer to that. Like, at the end of the day, you're a business. Like, yes, you have to have the right motive. You want to create value for the world, but you need to make money. Right? So if you're not making money, there's potentially a laundry list of reasons why that's happening.
That's true. There's so many.
Small market or limited market, not a strong enough product or service. But at the end of the day, you absolutely have to make money. That's the oxygen line to growing and
I guess it's very vague because when I googled like what's the number one reason businesses fail, one of them was like one of the top ones was like
running out of money.
You run out of money. Sure. But that's a very vague answer, I guess. Yeah. Because you could run out of money because the business model is bad. It could be because you're spending
wrong team.
Your
cash flow management is, not even doesn't even exist. Like there's a ton of reasons. But I think at the end of the day, one other piece of advice is that you want to be absolutely passionate about your business and whatnot, but you don't want to be emotional, right? You want to you have to understand that this is a business. You need to make money. That's not the motive, but you do need to make money, and making money leads to your ability to grow and create awesome things and add value to the world, right? That's the whole circle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What can we expect in the future for BizON?
One thing that, and I don't mean to make this a long answer, but I do want to touch on this. So one thing that I do pretty well is really leverage a model that I call SET. So I'm always looking at my business through 3 different lenses: social trends, economic trends, and tech trends. And that kind of helps me create my vision for the long run. And every time I think about where BizON's going to be in like 10 years, I don't have the specific answer to it, because things change so quickly. But what I do know based off those lenses and whatnot is we will continue to create product, services, and also technologies that help people buy, sell, and grow businesses every day, right? Empowering them to love what they do. That will be consistent, whether it's a year from now or 10 years from now.
And you will use those same principles and adapt to whatever social, economic, and
tech trends exist.
that are to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
All right.
All right, and now if anyone wants to find out more information about you, where can they follow you?
Yeah, just go to mybizon.com.
mybizon.com. Sign up for an account.
Yeah, you can join for free. Or you could browse our listings without joining. And then if you want to follow me personally, I'm on Twitter at Nunzio Presta. And you can also find
Nunzio Presta.
Yeah.
Nunzio Presta.
Correct. And then you could also plug that into Facebook and find my personal group. So I have a little group that's going on where everyone's joining, and we're just sharing things about business every day. All right.
All right, I'll do that.
Yes,
it was great talking to you.
Thank you.
I wanted to say meet you.